How's everybody doing? Okay. Earlier in the Samson 8K video, I talked a little bit about this amp right here. This is a friend of mine. We call him Bass Kabob. This is his amp, and this is an awesome little amp. But he bought it new from Taramps. It quit working after about a month. So, of course, I do work on amps sometimes. I'm an old electronics technician myself. And as you can see, I opened it. It was under warranty. I talked to Taramps, and they said I could either send it back, because I ordered it for him on my account, and he paid me. But they said I could either send it back for a refund or exchange. And I told them, I said, well, look, I can probably fix the amp. So they went ahead and let me do it. They're like, well, go ahead. And if you need technical assistance, they gave me a link to contact technical assistance. So I did. And they were very helpful. I got some information about some little regulator 6-pin chips that were in this thing. Sorry about the glare, y'all, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it on this phone, because they got this little button here and it jacks with it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it this way, and I already repaired the amp, but I'm gonna show you what I found in it. And what happened to this amp, it just quit working. It didn't do anything. There was no power, no fans, no lights, just nothing. And it had voltage and everything on it. So I gave him one of my loaner amps. In the meantime, a little 2,000 watt half bridge amp I had. So go ahead and open this, and I'm doing this one-handed, so kind of bear with me. Let's see if I can get this plate up. Yeah, okay. So this is the Big Boss 3, and it's fairly new. That manufacture date, that's got to be the day and then a month, because we're not even in 08 yet, August. So it was probably made in May 08, 2025, whatever. So what I found, let me pull it up on my computer here. Okay, so you see this resistor right here, this one, you see how it looked like it got hot, that R133, that's a 2R2 resistor, or 2.2 ohms. And what I did was I started by putting power on this thing, and I followed the remote. The remote goes to D4, and it looks like D18 right there. And what I'm guessing, I don't have schematics for this thing, is these turn these little switching regulators on. These two switching regulators. And I believe this one is the 5-volt regulator. Well, what I found troubleshooting this thing is, if you go up here where the little pick chip is, that 5 volts was missing. So it gave me a clue. So I traced it back to here. And I started checking all these little components. I checked to see if these were shorted. And this one I could read a number on it. This one I couldn't. And I checked all these little capacitors to make sure none was shorted. Checked these. Checked all these little resistors and stuff. Well, what I found was this R133 was reading about 27 ohms. And it looked a little sus to me. So what happened is I desoldered this, and when I put my soldering iron here, about a third of this resistor came off on the tip of my soldering iron. So upon further investigation, I believe this is a 1 watt 2.2 ohm resistor, and what this resistor does is the 12 or 14 volts, whatever you run the amp on, comes through this resistor and it feeds these regulators. It's the main power for these regulators, and these regulators regulate the voltage coming through this resistor, and this is a little current limiting resistor. And then these won't turn on and do anything until it gets remote right here, and it feeds through these two little diodes, probably turns this little transistor on or some crap. Anyways, this thing will turn on. It'll send the 5 volts up here to these chips, and it'll get to work, and it'll start turning everything on, the timing circuits and everything. So I already pulled this resistor off, this R133, and I was going to change this resistor to another one just like it. And I kind of figured, you know what, this is a new amp. This thing kind of runs hot. So I didn't have any 2.2 ohm resistors. So long story short, I found some locally, but they were just half watt. So I stuck one in there, and lo and behold, the amp worked fine. I checked all these voltages were fine, checked all the FETs and everything. Everything was fine. I even hooked it up to subwoofer, and I put a signal on it. Plays just fine, but the little half watt 2.2 ohm resistor I put right here was getting pretty hot. It was about 190 degrees, and of course I checked it with this thing. So I would love to have a little thermal camera. I could probably see better what's running hot in here. So changing that, I didn't find anything else in here really running hot. This resistor runs about 100 degrees, and they got something down here runs a little over 100. And actually the regulators, they run about 100 and anywhere between 104 to 110 degrees, which I don't think is too hot. Nothing was getting hot here except for the resistor right there. So what I did is I ordered some big stupid resistors. I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in a little bit. That is a 2 watt 2.2 ohm 1% resistor, and I soldered that bad boy in there. And earlier, it's pretty stiff. I don't know if I should reinforce that. You don't have this mounted to his box. But anyways, I ran the thing, and I ran it for a good hour. And as hot as this resistor got, I could still touch it. It was like at 154 degrees or something like that. And the voltage drop, a measured voltage drop across the resistor, I got like 0.9 volts. And that comes out to just under a 1/4 watt.
Okay, guys.
So that resistor ought to be able to handle that just
like
fine.
0.41 for
the original
watt,
resistor,
which is under a half
I don't know
watt.
if this is a design problem or something. Maybe it wasn't a 1 watt. Could have been a half watt resistor. I don't know, and it's probably right at design limit because it looked like it was getting hot. But man, I ran this thing over an hour. It's been fine. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some power on it. So I'm going to do this one-handed. And I got a little, again, my little, excuse me, that little 30 amp supply. I just turned it off while I hooked this up. And I just got some fluke meter leads here for power source. And we're just going to run this thing, just turn it on. So it's not a big deal. This little power supply and these little wires here. So let me get the right Allen here. Loosen up this, that's the positive right there. Loosen this up so I can get that up under there. Yeah, let me crank him down a little bit. Sorry about the camera, guys. And my negative lead up under here. Plate him down just enough to pinch it. And the remote, so the power supply ain't on, but I'm going to stick this in there for the remote. And usually if you're going to run one of these so any length of time on, I like to take like a, you can take an 8 ohm, 4 ohm, all I had was some 10 ohm, 100 watt resistors, and I just put one on the output. Not really necessary, but some amps, like I have a B2 amp and it says do not run it without a load, and it's a half bridge amp, but it's because of the high voltage. So I'll just stick one on there. It's not going to hurt anything. So we're going to go ahead and power this up, and as you can hear, the fans have kicked on. Flip this over, and she's a working. So now I've already did some measurements. I got exactly 5 volts on that pin from ground, and this regulator I hadn't checked them. I think it's 12. I've seen 12 in here somewhere, but one of these makes 5 volts, and I've seen 25 volts over here somewhere. Not real big on these, fixing these Class D amps. I'm a Class AB kind of guy. You know, I work on stuff like that. You know, this kind of stuff. I worked on many Class AB car stereo amps. So Class D, you know, I worked on a few here and there, but you know, nothing real big. You know, stuff like this, kind of fiddle with that one. A couple of others I done for friends. So I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna aim it at that resistor there, and see, it's already up. Let's see if I can get him. Like at 130 degrees. See if I can move it around. And it'll continue to climb, and it maxed out around 154, 155, somewhere in there, and it stayed there for over an hour. But when I go around with this thing, man, I mean, everything else is pretty cool. So that's it. That's the repair. And maybe y'all can fix yours if you have a problem. We're going to put this in Bass Kabob's car. We're going to roll with that resistor and see how it does, and I'll let y'all know in a future video. All right, later.